Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show with Timmy Ham, replete in his Dallas Stars jersey. I'm answering with my Tampa Bay Lightning t-shirt.
There you go.
As, we look forward to the upcoming rounds because clearly the Lightning are going to advance. Or maybe not. We shall see. We got a best of three series now with the Lightning. So we're going to get into that. We also have the Rays win last night, their 5th in a row. Wow. How good is this Rays team? How good are they? They might be better than I think, that's for sure. So we'll get to that. And, of course, the Bucs have now kind of redrawn their defensive front seven. And I got to tell you, I like what I see. I'm a little bit more optimistic. We got a long way to go, obviously, through this offseason. But I think in terms of changing out some key players and some key attitudes, I think, let's just say Todd Bowles can't even screw this up.
Want to bet?
Or maybe. I don't know. So we'll get into all that. Orestes Estrada is going to join us around 11:30, talk some Rays baseball. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some Tampa Bay sports talk as we hit all the major pops here in just a second. And by the way, anything you guys want to bring to the table, please do so. You can do it right in our comment section there. You can do that on Facebook. You can do it on YouTube. You can do it on the X machine, where I was battling last night with some of our anti-stadium folks. But that's basically it's my hobby now, Timmy. That's what I do.
I know. I see it all the time. I see it.
Yeah, another front and center op-ed piece about the stadium today in the TBT because a day cannot go by without ripping on this deal. It's just so funny. It's like you never saw any of this with the St. Pete deal. Never. Never. There was never articles about how the police. This one is all about local police and law enforcement and how we can, when people talk stadiums, all of a sudden that's all they can talk about, and the commissioners and the elected officials all go crazy about it, and they get all this money and still. But when it comes to talking about law enforcement, they can never find any money, blah, 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 blah. Even though we spend, I think, almost $300 million on law enforcement. It's a lot of money a year, by the way. So I get it, and it's obviously very well needed. But again, the point is you're getting $2.8 million back in tax revenue in this stadium deal, as opposed to, putting in $1 billion. And I don't understand. You can make all these arguments you want about how there are other priorities, and obviously there are. There are. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We got a lot of priorities here. All the more reason we got to do this deal because it creates economic impact, which creates more property taxes, which creates more money for the general fund, just like is happening in Atlanta with Truist Park. And, of course, there's no mention of that. And I know it's an op-ed piece, and they're trying to just put their agenda out there. But, again, I think in terms of negative op-eds, it's about 7 to 1 to positive ones. But be that as it may, thankfully, it'll be the commissioners that decide this and not the people that just read the headlines. So I think that's all we need to do on the stadium today.
And,
all right.
And you know what? This thing, let me chime in real quick. This thing, unfortunately, I think this is going to continue even after the stadium is built and everything is said and done. That's how ridiculous this narrative is. Like, even after the stadium's up and we're all enjoying it and the Rays are in their forever home and there's an entertainment district and everyone's happy and making money, there's going to be detractors that are out there going, oh, this whole district's just losing money every year. This is unsustainable. We're not going to be able to keep there's something's got to change. That's just how it's going to be, JP. This will be a subject in perpetuity.
Well, and which is why you got to do it right. And I think they're going about it the right way. It's just, it's so much negativity because we're eyeballing the process every single day, and everything is being negotiated out in the public eye, and that's never the way things are meant to do. But when you do the FOIA requests every single day to get every memo about everything that's going back and forth between the Rays and the county and the city, that's what it looks like, and it's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But our good friend Brody Brazil put out another video basically saying that the deal is falling apart, echoing the comments from the TBT and also the Tampa Bay Business Journal. And when you can pick apart every little disagreement or negotiation point that's still in the process of being worked out and say, oh, there's this problem. Oh, there's this problem. That's the way these things work. I mean, when you're doing deals like this, there are going to be tons of different issues that pop up that you have to cross those hurdles. And when you're doing it in public, it looks like a mess. But like when the Braves did their deal, it was all done legally, obviously, but done under kind of under the cloak of public scrutiny on every deal. They waited till they got the deal done, and then they presented it to the folks, and then they voted on it, and that was the deal. So in this case, we're going through, and I don't even remember when they were negotiating the St. Pete deal, if we're doing stories every time something came up. That wasn't part of it. So listen, I like Brody. Brody's a good dude. I've been on his show, and I'm going to go on his show again. He reached out to me, and I'm not bragging on him. He's doing what he does. Right. He's taking the available information, looking at it, and coming up with storylines that will get clicks. That's the game. That's the game.
What I don't understand, and again, nothing against Brody. He's got a successful channel, and I appreciate a lot of his content. But,
absolutely.
If you want clicks, make the title or your headline whatever you want it to say. But at least in the video, why not offer both sides of the argument? Like, I don't understand that. Why these guys who have no dog in the hunt here, who are just trying to report the news, why do you have to go negative all the time? Why can't you report both sides? Like, you honestly,
I'll be honest with you.
Other interest.
I'll be honest with you. I don't watch the videos. Most of them I don't. I don't. So I don't. So if they are all negative, I think that's irresponsible. I think you should always, if you're going to do a video on the stadium, you should take, it takes about 30 seconds to do the disclaimer. Hey, now the Rays say that they're going to create $75 billion in economic impact. They're going to return $2.8 billion to the taxpayer for the $1 billion investment. They're going to get $150 million in state money to rebuild Hillsborough College, which is in desperate need of repair. Blah, 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 blah. All the great impacts that this is going to bring. And that's always my problem with most of the media is they never do that. You could have stock paragraphs. The Times does that all the time with all different types of issues, which basically align with what and balance out the story. But it seems that like they rarely do that. So I don't want to give on a big harangue today about this, but it is something.
It's time for you to go back on his show and straighten shit out.
Yeah, well, I am. I'm going to do that. And again, I like Brody, and I understand what he's doing.
Yeah,
and he readily said, "Hey, come on the show and straighten me out. Let me, I said, I absolutely would love to do it. So that's to me, that's more responsible journalism. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And we'll definitely do that. So, anyway, that's where we're at.
By the way, JP, I have to
go ahead. Let me just hit this real quick. Thomas Casper said that the Times ignored the 60 pro stadium endorsements in a letter from the West Tampa chapter. Yep. And all this stuff you can see on the Rays Forever Home X channel or X account. All these endorsements that are coming in from all the local business folks that know what a great deal this is for the city. And yeah, those are all totally ignored by the Times. It's, and they certainly didn't ignore it when they got, Stu Sternberg got the Chamber and some other people to endorse the St. Pete ballpark. So again, it's just the hypocrisy of it. It's just kind of weird. But we've talked about why we think it's happening, and it is what it is. So
right.
Anyway,
right. So So Danny Boy brought up a good comment here. In Arlington, both Cowboys and Rangers got their stadium deals done the right way. And Texas Live, all of that is, and we know here locally what all that means. We just got a freaking IndyCar race that went around both stadiums last month. There was a huge success. IndyCar set a record for street course attendance in that race, and it was every driver said it was their favorite event so far. So it was a huge success. They'll continue it. But, JP, I just have to throw this in everybody's face. The Cowboys and the city of Arlington have both just agreed on a $1 billion renovation to AT&T Stadium, which is only 16 years old.
Wow.
They just approved, and it took one night to approve this, $1 billion in renovations to the stadium. Jerry Jones covering $750 million of that, and the city of Arlington covering at least $250. I think that could go up to $450. But this is also over the course of like 20 years that they're doing this. It's not all right now. So,
right.
I don't know, man. It doesn't have to be difficult, you guys. It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. I don't get why there's so many people. And again, I think it's a vocal minority that's just being driven by a lot of the media reporting, because it's a clickbait story. It's a clickbait story. It's why we do so much, on it ourselves, not to do clickbait, but basically because it does get attention, but it needs to be balanced, and we're trying to balance that out. And I know a lot of people are pissed off at me and whatever. Listen, I've said this a gazillion times. I'm an advocate for Tampa Bay sports. I'm unabashed advocate, and yes, I have an agenda to get this built because I think it's best for the people of Tampa Bay, not just baseball fans, for all the reasons we've talked about and all the reasons the Rays talk about it. And I also think that we've never done baseball right in this city, and I think we're on the cusp of doing that. And I want a winning baseball team, and without the revenue from a mixed-use area, we're not going to have it. So if here comes a deal late in our laps that Raleigh-Durham, Charlotte, Portland, San Antonio, Nashville, Salt Lake, any of these expansion cities would jump all over it. But for some reason, the place where we live, there's a lot of negativity. And again, when they did the poll, 64% of people said, yeah, we would love to have the Rays over here in Tampa. And then and then when they said, do you want to pay $1 billion for it? Of course, not saying you're going to get 2.8 back at least. Then people said, no, we don't want to do that. But they weren't educated to what's going on. So anyway, I think the majority of people would like to do this. And I think in the end, they'll have the votes. But the Rays have to answer some questions, and I think they're going to have to acquiesce on a few things that maybe they didn't want to in the beginning. And I think that will happen. They're too close not to get it done.
Mike in Florida made the best point so far, JP. I'm 100% in on X. He says, as long as we keep the spaceship, I'm all in.
Yeah, there you go.
Right there with you, Mike.
Yeah,
right there with you.
Yeah. Yes, Timmy evidently is subletting space on his computer.
So do you know where that sign came from?
No.
I used to have that on the back end of my laptop when we were doing shows at the bar, like in 2018. And I just dug that out of a folder I found. And honestly, this is a brand new monitor, and it's got a stupid Amazon thing on the back of it right there, Amazon Basics. I'm like, I'm not advertising for Amazon. I'm going to cover that up. And then I found this sign. I'm like, well, there we go.
Yeah. We got a super chat here from our good friend Alex Nunn, who was at the game last night in Cleveland, the Rays game. He said, $5 super chat. Thank you, partner. Said, JP, absolutely beautiful atmosphere in Cleveland. Such a beautiful ballpark and such a gutsy win. Thanks for seeing some awesome picks. Raise up, baby. Yeah, he sent me some picks last night from Cleveland. But that is a great stadium. Have you ever been to that? I still
like it better when it was called Jacobs Field.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what it's called now.
I don't know. It ain't Jacobs Field, though.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, it ain't Jacobs Field, and they're not the Indians, which is just ridiculous, by the way. Completely stupid. Yeah, but did you see what happened last night in the game before we get to the actual game? It was actually kind of overtook the actual game. So it was a home run from the Guardians. I forget the guy, the red hot guy, whatever. Shieldhouse, whatever his name is. Anyway, he hits a home run.
Talking about Shanneman?
Yeah, that guy.
Daniel Shanneman, yeah.
So, big burly dude comes over and is fighting a little girl who had a glove for the ball. And he literally, takes it away from her.
Yeah.
Like a complete douche.
What are we doing,
Complete
adults?
Douche. Oh, my God. It's just the worst. It's the worst of us. So, Ryan Bass, the on-field reporter, sees it and grabs a baseball. I think he got it signed, too, and brings it to the little girl and presents it to her. And she's, crying and overwhelmed with it's just that was awesome.
That made the rounds on social media last night, yeah.
Yeah, now we need the second part of that. So we got to get the guy who did it and bring him down.
Blast him out.
He's got a bat against Brian Baker and with a couple 98-mile-an-hour fastballs under his chin. And everyone that hits him in the ribs, he gets to keep. How's that?
I love it.
I think that should be standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
If you do that to a kid, you have to come on the field in the next half inning, stand in the batter's box, and get drilled in the ribs, and you get to keep the ball. How's that? Does that sound good? I think
don't understand adults, man, that have that mentality. I don't get it, man.
Absolutely, maybe one of the worst things.
My son Eli caught a foul ball at the when we went to the Rough Riders game for my birthday a couple weeks ago on their opening night. Caught a foul ball. We're over on the first base side, down a little bit, just over beyond where the netting is, and he caught one, over the netting on the infield. Came over, caught it, and there's this little girl about 3 rows in front of us that was trying to reach it, and I guess I'm frozen, aren't I? I don't know what's going on. And then just kind of tossed it to her, and she started crying. It made her night. I didn't have to tell him to do that. I didn't have to tell him to do that. I was like, did you not want that ball? He's like, yeah, but she wants it way more than me, Dad. He goes, I can get one anytime.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like, man, I raised that boy right.
Sign of a good kid. Yeah, sign of a good kid. Yeah, how a grown-ass man can do that is just beyond. But we should have remedies for that. No question about it. So, anyway, last night, Kevin Cash had a nice night last night. Stephen Metz pitched fantastic last night, and they're down 2-1 in the 8th inning. And Aranda comes up and just hits a seed to right field on a changeup. Just beautiful. It's like an 80%, 70% swing. He just waited on it. And, his kid's got easy power, man. His average numbers are down a little bit, but his power numbers and RBI numbers are way up. So we love to see that. So he ties the game. Then Junior comes up and hits a 110-mile-an-hour laser between third and short and gets on. But it's 8th inning now, right? So if you go to extras, Camanero's probably going to come out. You don't want to take that bat out of the lineup, right?
Yeah.
Well, Cash did, and he brought in Palacios to run for him with nobody out, and he takes off the next pitch. Now, the Indians, I don't think, have thrown out anybody all year. So, yeah, it was a gamble, but it was a pretty good gamble. Right? It's a pretty good gamble. So, got a great pitch to run on, got a great jump. He steals second. And then instead of going to Fraley with the left-hander against the right-hander, he actually stuck with Vlade, who had had a couple of hits already and is hitting like 450. So, again, not the biggest gambles in the world, but I think a gamble and probably anti-analytics. For the first time, I would say this is probably anti-analytics. This really felt like Kevin Cash managing from the seat of his pants, knowing that, we're not going to get another opportunity to win this game. We've been down all game. Let's just go for it right here. And damned if he didn't. And Vlade, just an absolute seed back up the middle. Palacio scores easily, and they take the lead. And Baker comes on, gets the first easy out, and then puts second and third, one out, and gets out of it with 2 big strikeouts. So Baker's been good. And I think he's kind of getting that closing role. So really nice win by the Rays last night, and a great night for Kevin Cash And I really thought I was watching a manager like manage from his gut and actually do it. And I was almost shocked. Like, wow, this is kind of really like, oh, this, Vlade's got good at bats here today. We're not gonna pinch hit him. We're just gonna go let righty on righty and see what he can do. Oh, well, look what happened. And we're gonna put Palacios in and steal second base. It was great. And I'd like to see more of it, quite frankly. And I'd like to know, I'd love to know, in terms of making decisions where analytics and where Cash has more free reign. I would love to know that. We probably never will. But I thought that was a really interesting part of last night's game, because it's just, and that's such a great part of baseball, right? Is that strategy part. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yep. And I just loved the aggressiveness and, leaning on your players to go do what they can do. I loved it.
And that's part of the reason why I look, and everybody knows that watches this and other of my shows that, like, I'm kind of a baseball purist, a historian guy, but I also dig like the ABS thing. I dig the pitch clock, like all of these things that have made the game more entertaining to watch. I like it, but I was always sort of against these these analytics, these baseline analytics that now all the managers are using, because I really thought it kind of takes the manager's gut feelings out of the game, or it could. And, you always had guys like Joe Madden who kind of bucked those trends anyway and just went with his gut anyway. But a lot of these younger managers that are coming in are just like, well, what does the book say? What should I do here? What do the analytics say? And I just think sometimes that's not what it's about. It's about, how do you feel about this play? What does your gut tell you about the flow of this game and how this pitcher could react in the next inning? About swapping out a base runner here. To me, that's what makes baseball so great. And a lot of the analytics take that element out of it, and I don't like it.
I agree, 100% agreed. And Orestes sent me a video from a baseball analyst guy. I forget who it was, but basically he was going off about the hirings of coaches and coaching staffs, managers and coaching staffs in Major League Baseball. And he said, you look back 20 years, and unless you had managed at least 500 games in the minor leagues, most managers wouldn't even get a sniff unless they manage about 1,000. Yep. You wouldn't get a sniff. And now we're hiring all these younger coaches, who are, analytics driven, and they just don't have the experience, the gut experience that the Joe Maddens and, the Tito Franconas and, frankly, the Kevin Cashes, although Cash has kind of grown up in that analytics world.
Yeah.
But they don't have the experience level. And these teams are passing on a lot of guys in baseball that, frankly, older guys that they just don't want to hire anymore, because they don't want some manager saying, hey, I want to go with my gut feeling here. And I think, well, then why are you hiring people? Why don't you just put your analytics guys in the freaking dugout and let them manage the team? I mean, that's basically what they're doing anyway. They're having these robot managers just take their lineups and have all the moves are almost predetermined. I don't like it. I think it takes out the human element, and it doesn't differentiate great managers from average managers. It's part of the game. So I wish we had more of that back. And last night kind of felt like that was, I could be totally wrong. Those could have been all analytics moves. I don't know, but it kind of felt like Cash was really running the show. And that's back in the day. These managers had personalities, right? They were stars. Like, Earl Weaver was a star. Lou Piniella was a star. Billy Martin was a star. It was part of the game. Shoot, I can't even name probably 15 to 20 managers in baseball, because they've all been hired in the last couple of years and they've never done anything in the game before. I don't know. Again, that's a trend in baseball that I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, right there with you.
Yeah, I don't know if we had any. Here's Alejandro says this morning, Rays are looking good with the way they're playing. Let's keep adding to that win total. Hopefully we can win tonight against Beebe, who has been bad so far. Let's win the series. Go Rays. Also likes Brian Baker, came on to close last night. Says he's really impressed me in the closer role, and he should stay in that role. He's done great in that role. He's doing better than Pete so far with 6 saves at a 3.18 ERA. He's done pretty well. When Baker comes in, it gets a little dramatic. I mean, he's certainly not that shutdown guy, but he's getting there. Good fastball, lively fastball. The changeup was really good last night when he can command it. He got a couple of really, really big strikeouts there in the end to put it away. So I like what we're seeing there.
And who would have thought at this point of the season the Rays are 6 games over 500 and a game and a half back of the Yankees?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
No, and when you look at this team, kind of like what we said yesterday, Ryan Pepio hasn't thrown a pitch, right? Useda hasn't thrown a pitch. Clevenger has been injured. Gavin Lux hasn't played a game. Basically, you were counting on him to be a big part of your offense and defense. So this is a team that really is already behind the 8 ball in terms of injuries, aren't they always? So you look at this team and you feel like, wow, this team could be really, really good. They could get better. And already, like you say, with 6 games above 500, winning 5 in a row, that's it's pretty damn good.
It's impressive.
And better than I thought we'd be at this point of the season.
Unexpected and impressive all at the same time.
What else we got? For Alex on another super chat says $5. Thank you, partner. So did you see that Williamson dive? Freaking incredible. I love this Rays roster. That kid, we were told he's a really good defensive player, and boy, are we seeing it. And has been really good offensively too. Yeah, the emergence of Ben Williamson is something I don't think anybody saw coming. But wow.
Yeah.
Hey, John Hill says the female Canadian Montreal fan who licked the glass during Sunday's game, she wants to rent your space, Timmy.
Oh, she can rent whatever she wants of mine. He sent me that picture too. Oh yeah, he sent me the picture. I guess that he took off of his TV. And yeah, dude, that's how our Montreal women do. They'll lick just about anything you put in front of them.
Yeah. Bucs Basement said, JP, honestly, truth, would you take Alex Cora over Kevin Cash, or would that be a tough decision to make? I think both are great coaches, but handicapped by their owners. Man, you're not going to get me to go against Kevin Cash. Listen, he's not perfect. No managers are. But you can't deny what he's done over the years with what he's had to work with. I mean, it's why he's a 2-time AL Manager of the Year. He will never. And Mike H is like, Cash will always refer back when he had to pull Blake Snell per analytics. That will never leave him, nor should it. But that's life in baseball. That's one of the great parts of the game is we can always second guess the manager. But it's more fun when they're managing from the seat of their pants and using their vast experience to make managerial moves. Yeah. Because again, in analytics, it's hard for them to know, oh, this guy Valade's coming up. He's smoking hot. He's hitting everything on the barrel. He has a confident air about him in the dugout. He wants it in this moment. Those are only things that a manager can see as he's managing the games. Those are not things that can be analytically put into the equation at that moment. Mike H says, no one saw this coming except for us faithful Rays diehards. Scrappy team.
Nobody saw this coming.
Mike says the Rays hired an ex-Rays minor league coach as their manager. I know. It's like when they hired the guy, I still can't remember his name. I'm like, who is this dude? Hell, there were people in the Rays organization that had no idea who he was.
Name tags.
Yes. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll talk a little Lightning as we got a big game coming up tomorrow night. Woo! Game 5 at Benchmark International Arena. Series tied at 2, and what a series it has been. So we will jump into the Lightning next and talk a little about my new favorite player, Brandon Hagel. Boy, I love this dude. Hey, we're brought to you by the great folks at Pitch Roofing. Hey, even though you may not need a new roof right now, it's a great idea to be proactive, right? When you're a homeowner, give them a call. They'll come over for free, and they will check out your roof, see how much life you have left in your roof so you can plan for when you're going to need a new roof, right? And know what it's going to cost, know who the people are that are going to be doing it. You can look into their great reviews on Google. You can see they're insured, they're bonded, and they will stand behind their work. They're going to educate you about the process of roofing because, trust me, there are a lot of thieves out there that will promise you a lot of stuff and then take your money. Don't let that happen to you. And if a hurricane comes and you need a new roof stat, you'll already have a relationship with the roofing company that's going to do the work for you. So give them a call at pitchroofing.com. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you, and you will get a special discount just for being a fan of our show. Pitchroofing.com. And the best jingles in the freaking business. Back in 3.
Pitch Roofing believes giving back is part of doing business the right way. That's why they proudly offer exclusive discounts to those who gave the most to our communities, including veterans, first responders, seniors, and teachers. And for listeners of the JP Peterson Show, there's even more good news. Pitch Roofing is now offering a special discount just for fans of the show. With so many roofing companies coming and going in Florida, it's important to choose a contractor you can count on long after the job is done, especially when it comes to honoring your warranty. Pitch Roofing is built for the long haul with a reputation for quality, transparency, and standing behind their work. Whether it's a repair or a full replacement, their team delivers honest guidance, quality workmanship, and no high-pressure sales. Call 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, or visit pitchroofing.com to schedule a free estimate.
Pitch Roofing, roofing done right.
As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Cost less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. Hey guys, you already know that Riveters is the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, but now it gets even better for Rays baseball season. During all Rays games, check this out, $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas, all during Rays games. Are you kidding me? And that's always a great pour from the great bartenders at Riveters. Great service, great food, everything is fresh, nothing is frozen. And let me tell you, if you want baseball and wings, you will not find any better than Riveters. Their sauces, like the blue cheese and the ranch, and everything is handmade, and the wings are big, and they're perfect. Wings, baseball, Rays, Riveters. It all comes together during baseball season. Once again, in addition to all the great food and service you get, $6 Tito's, $6 Jacks, $6 margaritas. It's time to celebrate. Baseball season is back, and celebrate at Riveters. You know where it is, right there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of the stadium. See you there at Riveters. It's Diamond Days at the Golden Diamond Source. Celebrate April's birthstone, which is diamonds, as they take center stage. Up to 20% off the diamond jewelry throughout the month of April. And don't forget, you could trade in your broken or old jewelry towards something new and beautiful. Gold prices are at a record high. Now is the best time. And by the way, they only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source. It's real love. It should be real natural diamonds. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Really, really bad idea. And for the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyers, they are going to teach you all about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. They are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And by the way, you can trust them. They've been in business for over 40 years. Don't buy something online. You have no idea what you're getting. 0% financing for up to 5 years. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond. 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldendiamond.com. Hey, JP here for Genesis of Tampa and the Murphy Auto Group. I think the best way to experience a business is to use that business. And I just did at Genesis of Tampa. Just bought a GV70, a 2023, and it feels and drives all new. It's an absolutely fantastic car. The technology, the comfort, and the price, absolutely outstanding. Frankly, I never thought I could get into a car like this, but they made me a deal I could not refuse. And I also get the VIP service where you can just drive right up, their pit stop service. They'll top off all the fluids, make sure your air in your tires is good, new wipers if you want them. If you need extended service, they will come to you, bring you a courtesy car, and then bring your car back. What more do you want? The experience was just VIP all the way. And you can get that at Genesis of Tampa. And don't forget, you can get extended warranty, which I did. So I have worry-free miles up to 100,000, and all they do is just take it in. Actually, I don't have to take it in. They come to me. It's perfect. It's Genesis of Tampa right there, 801 East Bears Avenue, right off of 275. Go see them and tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Tuesday. Day off for the Bolts and the Les Habitants. And, of course, when the Bolts win this, the big Habs fan over there, Timmy, will be paying up with a case of Molson delivered to my door. Thank you very much. I think we'll go Molson. Absolutely. But if you're looking for a place to watch the game tomorrow night, you're not going. How about Riveters? And you can watch the Rays in the afternoon, then you can watch the Lightning at night and just camp out at Riveters. Why not? Have lunch, dinner, just stay there at the bar all day long. I think it's a great idea. You get, during the Rays games, you get $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas. From 3 to 7, you get all the great happy hour food, like the buffalo chicken dip for $8. You get the wings for $12. Absolutely fantastic food. Everything is fresh. Staff is amazing. They have microbrews there. The hazy IPA is amazing. It's all great at Riveters, the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, just north of 275 right there on Del Mabry and just south of the stadium. Right next to what? The spaceship.
Spaceship. Speaking of the spaceship, yeah. JP. So during the break here, I was sort of messing around here. I got a refill of coffee, took the dog out, And I'm like, I'm trying to remember the last time I wore this jersey. And it's been a while. Right? I have several, right? This isn't one that I normally wear to games. This is like an authentic, the expensive one. I bought this during the 98 season. It's the Mike Modano jersey. Gotcha. And I'm like, man, when was the last time I wore this? Because I'm looking around, and there's stuff falling off of it, and I'm like, what? It was glitter, JP.
Glitter?
I have glitter.
Why would you have glitter on your jersey?
Because I wore it to a titty bar. Apparently, it was the last time I wore it, and I didn't remember. It was a long time ago.
Oh.
I'm like, what is this? Why is there glitter on here? And I was like, oh, yeah.
If your husband comes home with glitter on you, which, by the way, is impossible to get off. Absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many of you have probably tried it, too.
To get the glitter out of your clothes, it won't happen.
One word, the dryer sheets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not that I've ever done that, but,
JP has life hacks about how to get glitter out of your clothes.
Well, important things you have to teach your son as he's growing up.
Exactly.
All right. The Lightning and the Les Habitants, Game 5. Timmy, how would you characterize what you have seen so far in the first 4 games of this series?
Evenly matched, would be the word I think of. So what's really weird, JP, is the 2 series I am most interested in this first round. Obviously, Stars Wild and Habs Lightning. And both of these series are identical. You've got 2 teams, division rivals, that are just so evenly matched. With the exception of Stars Wild Game 1, when the Wild came out and won 6-2, every game has been just back and forth, no more than like a 1-goal lead at any point. Overtime wins. I mean, it's just insane to watch both of these series. They are mirror images of each other. And when you look at Stars Wild, first of all, that's 2 of the top 3 teams in the entire league, along with Colorado for most of the year. And it
Yeah.
sucks that they got to play each other in the first round, but that's just
Yeah.
know how it works out. I get it. But it's the same thing with the Habs and the Bolts. It's just two teams that know each other really, really well, that went 2-2 against each other in the regular season, and that has carried over, I think, into the postseason. I don't think, like we talked about before the playoffs, I don't think it matters who had home ice advantage. It does not matter when you have division rivals like this until you get to maybe like game 6 or 7. Then it might come into play. But early in the series, I don't know that it really matters. But I mean, as far as entertainment value, holy crap, what more could you possibly ask for?
Yeah. I think I don't know if I've seen a more even series, but I would also say that there are two teams doing it very differently. It's weird when you think about the Lightning. It's almost like, where's the scoring going to come from, right? The Lightning they just look like they're struggling to find it. Goals in the regular season just come so easy to the Lightning. And when you get into the playoffs and you go up against a younger, faster team that is really well coached and determined to shut down your time and space, well, that's what Montreal is doing. And it's making the Lightning really, really work for their opportunities. So, Engblom always talks about this, and Chief as well in the post-game show. In the playoffs, you have to be a chameleon. You have to be able to win in so many different ways. And, Lightning for a long time on their stretches, they would just get to their game and they were faster than you. They were more skilled than you. They had the best goaltender. The coach got the best matchups, and they would just embarrass you at times. This is a much different Lightning team. It's much more physical. It feels like they're showing the scars of the last 2 years of getting out physicaled by the Panthers and just saying that's not going to happen again. We're not going out of the playoffs because we're getting pushed around. And you can make an argument that perhaps maybe they've fallen into that trap a little bit more and it's not really their game. But the problem is when Braden Point's not going, it's kind of hard for them to play that up and down run and gun because he's the guy that's going to give you 5, 6, 7 goals in a series. And we're not seeing that. And you're also in a situation where I've never seen so many penalties called in the playoffs. Yeah. It's a lot of ticky-tack stuff. And it feels like, from the very beginning, Bettman came in and said, look, these guys are fighting too much. It's too mucked up. We got to start calling everything to keep, and it's like they don't care. Like both teams are just, although I'd say how many power plays do we have? We were 1 for 7. They were 1 for 6. So 13. I'd say of those 13 power plays, half of them were ticky-tack calls that aren't normally called in the playoffs. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's kind of mucking up. Go ahead.
And it's kind of defined the series, really, even though neither team's been highly successful on the man advantage. I think the time on the man advantage for each team sort of dictated how the series has gone because neither team is excelling necessarily on 5-on-5 either. Yeah.
The first 3 games, Montreal had a 75 to 25% edge in high danger chances. Yep. I mean, that's pretty big. And in game 4, the Lightning turned that around. Here's a couple of numbers for you. Okay. In the first 3 games, Montreal generated 24 high danger shots while only 8 to Tampa Bay. For the Lightning to even steal one of those games is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The Lightning have led in overall shot attempts 100 to 66 and shots on goal 42 to 27 at 5-on-5 play during the same period, which is kind of weird. So the Lightning are getting more offensive zone time, but they're giving up more quality high danger chances. And a lot of that has been mistakes on the defensive part of the Lightning, not just the defensemen, but everybody, leaving guys wide open in front of the net. We've seen that time and time again. And Vasi has been absolutely fantastic. The fact that he's kept this so close is, once again, more proof that he's the best goalie in the game. And if the Lightning can just clean up some of their defensive lapses, and stay out of the box, even though their penalty kill has been fantastic in the last 3 games, they've been really, really good. And I would say that almost begins and ends with Vassie because he has been an absolute stone wall. So I think when you look at the overall series, I will say this. I've seen the Lightning get pushed around, and it kind of feels like they're doing the same thing to Montreal.
Right.
And where that really takes effect is when the series gets to game 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've had some extra rest in this series, a couple times now?
Yeah.
So I think that helps Montreal a little bit to recover because when the game gets truly physical and I think the Lightning's desperation has been more than Montreal. And I think that's why it was a game 2 and game 4. I think that was the difference in those games. I mean, the Lightning really, really pushed in the third in both of those games and got the dub. So in that one overtime, they were just dominant. They did not allow a shot. So can the Lightning get to that part of their game tomorrow night? I think they can. And Hagel is the one who leads the way. Ed Encina did a nice piece in the TBT today, and Cooper talked about this about midway through. I think it was game 4. Midway through that game in Montreal, the place was just going bonkers, and they're down 2-0, and it's right before the big hit. And Hagel just stood up on the bench in a timeout and was basically like just giving it to everybody on the bench, and everybody was listening to him. And he brought everybody into the fight. And then Crozier had the big hit. They scored the goal just before the end of the second period on a great give and go, Moser and Gensel. And then they come back and Hagel gets the power play goal early in the third. And then they get the go-ahead goal and they lock it down, even in a 5-on-3 penalty kill. Just a great win, a fantastic win. But for me, I think if you're a Montreal player, you're like, damn, we played our A-plus game. And we're still 2-2.
Yeah.
We're still 2-2. And we've lost home ice. So I think if you're Montreal, you're probably I don't want to say you're probably second guessing yourself right now. I don't think you skate into this game tomorrow night with like all this confidence, like, we're the better team. I think you're like, man, we have just done everything right, and we're still here and we can't beat this guy, Vasilevsky. In fact, the only time he's been beaten are on deflected shots. So is that fair? Is that fair?
The Habs. Yeah, I don't like to use the word like pressure. This team's under more pressure. This team has more pressure because, this is the Stanley Cup playoffs. I think both teams feel the pressure for sure. The Lightning are feeling pressure right now just to get out of the first round. And now that you've got it down to a 3-game series, they're definitely feeling that. Same thing with the Habs. They're looking to prove themselves kind of to the league here now in the playoffs, and rightfully so. But because of the position, like you just said, that the Habs are in, they may be pressing more. They may be thinking like we need to do a little bit more and do a little bit extra here because we think we're the better team. We should not be too tied up 2-2. And because of that, they might be forced into more mistakes, and that's where the Bolts have to take advantage of it. And again, I still think that the Bolts have a coaching advantage over the Canadians for sure. Nothing against Martin St. Louis, but I definitely think that they've got a coaching advantage with John Cooper. That's just reasonable.
I think this is the time, games 5, 6, and 7, where that coaching edge should show itself. Show itself even more. With matchups, and now 2 out of the 3 games, Cooper's going to have the last change. So I think that's going to be a big edge for the Lightning. But more than anything, if you don't have tickets for this game 5, what are you doing? I mean, these games are just, and I can tell you this, I don't want to give away any trade secrets here, but if you come to the game tomorrow night, there's going to be a concerted effort from people like me, Greg Wolf, Paul Porter, anybody you hear on a microphone. The Blue Crew is going to be trying to get the fans up. And when I mean up, it's like standing up and cheering like they do in Montreal. Now, listen, I'm not dogging the fans, but there's a lot of chatter about the red jerseys in the lower level. There's a lot of chatter about too many Montreal fans. As the lovely Ashley said, watching the game, it's like, wow, that is a sea of red. I don't see any blue. And I'm like, yeah, you won't. You won't see any Lightning jerseys in that crowd, certainly not in the lower level. And let's be honest, listen, they've got 150 years of hockey history. All right. We're still a baby compared to Montreal. It's a different deal, right? They're not filling, their football stadiums in every other arena like we do here. All right. Where, hockey is still, it's much as we hate to say it, it's not the number one sport here like it is there. Sure. So we're not expecting Lightning fans to sign overnight become, the Bell Center. It's just, that's unrealistic. But could we ramp it up a little bit? I think we can. I think we can. So when you come tomorrow, be prepared to stand the entire game. Now, some of you may not like that. Some of you might not like that, but be prepared. You got there's plenty of times where they whistle and you can sit down for a few minutes. All right.
And look, if you don't like standing up for the whole game, then don't ever go to a football game at Kyle Field. That's what we do the entire game. You're not allowed to sit down the entire game at Kyle Field. So, everybody knows what kind of atmosphere that is.
Play. Yeah.
Yeah, you can duplicate that at Benchmark International Arena for sure.
So, again, not calling out the fans, but I'm just saying, hey, would you not say that your Lightning team has given you a supreme effort? I mean, I don't think you could ask for any more in terms of effort and intensity than this team has given. They're not playing pretty. It's not the usual tic-tac-toe, back of the net, Lightning flying up and down the ice. That's not what this series is. No, it's not. That's not what the playoffs are.
Not right.
And I really appreciate the grit that this team is showing big time. And it starts with Hagel. But, Yanni Gord, all of them. I mean, they're taking on bigger guys. Sure. You want to talk about onions. What our team has shown, I don't know if I've ever seen a Lightning team play this hard, to be honest with you. They're playing their ass off because that's the only thing they can do to win. They're being outskilled. They're not as fast. They're not as young as these cats. That's just so they kind of, like when you're playing pickup basketball as an old man, right? And you just got all these young high flyers around and you just got to, all right, I'm going to go anchor down in the paint, throw a couple elbows and teach these little bucks how to play. Yeah. And by the end of the game, they don't want any of it. They don't want any of it, right? They'll just back off and then I'll miss the layup. But that's what the Lightning are doing. They're just like backing down little brother and saying, I'm just going to back you into the paint, bro. And I'm just going to beat you to death. And that's how this is going to go. Yep. And I, for one, am here for it. I absolutely love it. And I think we should be there tomorrow night, stand the whole damn game, and just bring it like we've never brought it before. And if we got to do it again on Game 7, we'll do it again for Game 7. We are not going to lose to these candy-ass Les Habitants. I kid.
Might.
I kid. Yeah.
JP,
yes,
do you think you'll know more about this than I do? The farther we get into the playoffs, so round 2, the conference finals, does the crowd get better in Tampa Bay? The deeper they go, better? Do they get more loud? Do they show up more for the later rounds, or is this pretty much what you get all through the playoffs at Benchmark?
I mean, I don't have a problem with our fans. I mean, I don't think they're bad. I don't. In fact, I think
not at awesome. All. Yeah, not at all.
Are they Montreal level? No, I don't think anybody is.
Nobody is. Yeah.
I mean, that Utah place is pretty loud too. I think just the hockey crowds are fantastic all across the board.
Yeah, but that's just a loud arena over there, man. The Jazz can make that place loud too. The Jazz used to
Can we be better? Can the Lightning be better? Yeah. I think we can. I think we can have a more intimidating atmosphere. Yes, I do. Am I dogging our fans? No.
No.
And the other thing is, we're spoiled. For God's sakes, that's part of it. Now, Michael LaRue says Tampa fans will not stand. The minute someone stands, 5 people are yelling at them to sit out. Sometimes
Sit down.
I will say this. I've seen ushers tell people to sit down.
That's unfortunate.
So we need to spread the word because that's a thing. You don't want to be rude to other people, and you don't want people yelling at you to sit down. So let's just, for the rest of the playoffs, you can't tell other people to sit down. If you want to see, stand up. It's not that hard.
JP, what
Come on
happens
now.
in benchmark if you flip off an usher? Do you get escorted out, or are you pretty good to go?
But yeah, I would love to see it. I mean, other places do it. Let's do it. Let's stand up for most of the game. All right. I would love to see it. All right. We got another super chat from Mike H. Says, wait until Clevenger, hopefully Uceda, not to mention their ace Pepio comes back. Even Big O predicted the Rays would be scrappy this year. Well, they had to be scrappy. Yeah. You know, I mean, if you don't have big boppers, right? Yeah.
That's all you got.
That's all you got. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, comments. All of your comments coming up. And we'll get to some Bucs too. There's some news from your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kind of big news. So we'll do that when we come back. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's a couple more days left of Diamond Days. April is Diamond Days. That's the birthstone of April is diamonds. And folks, you want a real diamond. They only sell real diamonds at the Gold and Diamond Source. Do not start your relationship with a fake diamond. What are you thinking? That is a bad idea, and you will never hear the end of it. Trust me. Every argument that happens, that's the first thing she's going to bring up. You bought me a fake diamond. Don't do it. Don't give her the ammo. Go get a real diamond at the Gold and Diamond Source. And they have the best selection. They have the best prices. They have the best service. And for you dudes, they have a whole new expanded men's area with baller watches, all kinds of cool stuff for the guys. And, go check out, listen to their staff, chat with them and say, what's popular, what's going on, and see if they'll show you some stuff. And bring in your old gold jewelry because gold has never been higher. Silver, diamonds, whatever you got, bring it in. They'll give you a top dollar for it. You can buy something new and shiny. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, just across the bridge from Tampa, and always online at goldendiamond.com. Back in 3.
Well, the folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC want to say thanks for making them so dadgum busy. Of course, advertising on your favorite Tampa Bay sports talk show helps, but it's their incredible customer service, honesty, and integrity that have earned them tons of 5-star reviews. And now you could be part of the team at Third Generation. Yes, they are so slammed, they need to hire more certified AC technicians and plumbers. It's a great family business to work for. My buddy John Rodriguez runs an old school family business since 1995. They pay well, give you all the holidays off, and they offer great benefits. No cold corporate atmosphere here. You're part of the family. If this sounds cool to you, call them and apply at 813-961-8024, or you can email your resume in at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Just go to the website, you'll see the button, email them, or call them at 813-961-8024. And don't forget about the $169 yearly maintenance special. It's a no-brainer, guys. thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and they also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the JP Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Tuesday before Game 5 with the Lightning and the Canadians. Hey, folks, remember, if you're looking for a car, and in these times, it's always good to get as much possible back for your car, right? Well, Genesis of Tampa, they are looking for used cars because they make money on it, and they want your car. So bring that sucker in, and they will give you top dollar like they did for me. I had a little BMW scoot about, and it was probably worth $7,000, $8,000. Had 93,000 miles on it. They gave me 11. They gave me 11 grand for that. All right. So bring that car in, tow it in, whatever you got to do. You'll get great value in your trade in, and then they'll make you a deal that you cannot refuse. It's Genesis of Tampa. You can find them at 801 East Bears Avenue, just off of 275 there. Always something cool going on. Great folks in the community. But more than that, they have great cars at fantastic prices, and they're making deals. GenesisofTampa.com. By the way, Mike Murphy, the owner of Murphy Auto Group, we did a pod with him last Friday on the Big O Show. If you want to know more about this ownership group, and not necessarily just the Ken Babbies, the Lupskis, Cosgroves, but all the the limited partners, as they call them, most of them have Tampa Bay ties. Mike did an absolutely fantastic job of telling you who they are, what they're all about. And I think the more you learn about this ownership group, the more you understand that they are very much partnering with the community, and they want to do something that's important and is a legacy project. And as Mike said, there are tons of other things we could have invested in. All of us are smart business folks. I'm paraphrasing here. This was a tough ask and a heavy lift, but they all wanted to do it. And there's a consensus among this ownership group that this is a legacy project for them, their kids, and beyond. And that's where we want to be in this community. We want the people that are benefiting from the community and with the successful businesses to give back. And this is a huge part of them giving back. Yes, will they make money? Yes, they will. But there's a lot of risk involved whenever you do something like this, especially when you're putting up $8 to $10 billion. And one of the things that is a hallmark of this deal is that it protects the taxpayer in a lot of different ways. And some of you may laugh at that, but you got to go look inside the deal to figure it out. So Genesis of Tampa, Mike Murphy is the owner and one of the limited partners. Great dude. Go watch that podcast. All right. You want to get into some comments here, my friend?
Yeah, let's do some comments.
Our good friend, Devin Garnett, says that TBT article today, well, it was an op-ed, another negative op-ed. He just breezed over the Ray J and what it's done for Tampa, mentioned no economic impact. Yeah, on any of the stuff. Just weird, right? You're writing an article and you're trying to make the case that spending money on stadiums is a bad idea. And you bring up, and I'll read this verbatim. In 1996, voters approved the half-cent community investment tax, which helped fund schools, roads, public safety projects, and yes, Raymond James Stadium, the house of the Buccaneers call home. Much of that tax surely went to legitimate needs, but every time another stadium idea rolls into town wearing a fresh suit and carrying an invoice, taxpayers have every right to check their wallets. Like it was a bad thing. Like we built Ray J for $180 million. And I know that was a long time ago, but again, it allowed you to keep your NFL team. The Bucs were leaving if we didn't build the stadium.
They were going to LA.
And we've had 3 Super Bowls, and Super Bowls average $500 to $600 million economic impact. I mean, that's the average. And we've had 3 of them. You want to talk about in terms of, I mean, you go look at property values from when the Bucs from the 90s to the early, it went so crazy that we had a recession because the freaking values went through the roof. Did that have anything to do with the Bucs? I think it did. Winning a Super Bowl in 2002, the excitement that it brings your area, the quality of life that, for me, having an NFL team is a really important thing. Having a baseball team is a really important thing in terms of a place I want to live. It may not be for you, which is one of the reasons I love this deal, because it gives back to everybody. If you're into education, you get a new college, right? If you're into just making money, your business, whatever your business is, you can find a way to profit off of this. You should be able to find a way to profit off this, all the building that's going to be going on and the different businesses that will be housed there. There's a lot of opportunity. So, I think it goes, and again, this whole article today was about, we have other needs in the community. And of course we do, which is why you invest $1 billion to get $2.8 billion back. But of course, that's never mentioned in any of that part. Danny Boy says that MOU is getting passed. May 12th is another important day, and that's because of the special session in Tallahassee for the $150 million for Hillsborough College. Yep. And I think, I think these owners know that if we don't get this memo of understanding done and that money from the state is not allocated, because I think those two things are intertwined, then the deal does blow up. And while DeSantis is in office, from a political standpoint, he's making this happen. And when he leaves, I'm not saying it won't happen, but you got to go through the process again. And that's not something that you want to take a chance with if you want to get this done. Thomas Casper mentions over the 15-year renewal period of the SITS tax, December 26 through December 2041, the tax is estimated to generate a total of $3.76 billion for capital projects and related infrastructure across the county. So again, if the Rays are going to take $300 million of $3.5 billion, it's a chunk, no question about it. But what are you getting back? And we act like we have no money to do anything in this town. Like we've got $3.5 billion, and that's just in the SITS tax. That's not even talking about the the property tax with the property that doesn't exist that is going to be built that will come back. I mean, seems like a good idea to me.
Most of the people who say that there's no money anywhere, just they heard that somewhere and they're repeating it. They don't really know, unfortunately.
Right. Exactly. The lovely Ashley says, I hope a woman never gives that man an ounce of attention ever again in his life. He's a loser.
Ashley, I am right here. I am right here. Why are you talking about me when I'm literally sitting right here?
In reference to the fan taking the ball away from the girl, major props to Ryan Bass there. Yes, Ryan did a great job with that. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
What else we got? Mike H says maybe Rays upper management will actually let Cash manage games instead of AI. Wouldn't that be great?
Are sick kids in the hospital still making the lineup card every day?
We think. John Hill says happy birthday to Clearwater resident John Daly. Happy 60th. Big John Daly, 60. Does that mean he gets the hit from the white tees now?
He'll never do that.
He'll never
He'll still go tee off barefoot with a beer in one hand, too.
That's right.
And a heater dangling.
Michael Review says, the Giants at Rays this weekend. The Giants hired a college coach without Pro Bowl experience. They finished last year 500 with a positive run differential, but this year they're under 500 with a negative run differential. Yeah, they hired Tennessee's head coach or manager. And I don't think that experiment's going very well.
Probably not.
No. Said they also hired a former legend to run their baseball ops. He traded for Devers, took all the money for basically a DH. Yeah, I gotta brush up on my Giants stuff for this weekend, but from what I've seen a couple of things, it's not going well. Ellen Road Loco says Pepio isn't coming back. He is going to surgery. Once you say unstable, it's hip surgery. Yeah, we're a little worried about that, right? Because normally,
yeah.
All right, let's get to the Bucs here, Timmy. So they exercised the fifth-year option on Kalijah Cansey, who has missed 22 games in the first 3 years. So almost half the games he has missed in the first 3 years. And we're going to pay him $14 million for his fifth-year option in 2027. Good deal? Smart? I would say you really didn't have much option here. It's a first-round pick, and when he's played, he's been really, really good. He's been a difference maker. Defensive linemen are hard to find. That said, when he first came in, I was, I heard about, you read his size and weight and everything, and you're like, oh, you turn on the tape, and you're like, wow, he plays big. He moves people. At his size, that's really incredible. And that was, the college tape. And then you see him in the pros. And when he's healthy, he does the same thing. He's super quick off the ball. He's a great compliment to Vita Vea. But we also wondered out loud, when you're that small, will you be injury prone? Last year, he tore a pec. When you're consistently outweighed by 30, 40 pounds, going up, against these guards and centers that are grown-ass men, will you be more apt to be injured? Well, the evidence says yes so far. So I don't think it was a slam dunk to pick up this option. I think it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
But I think it's something almost that you have to do. Would you agree with that, Timmy?
Yeah, I think you needed to see what you were going to get in the draft. And I think who they drafted this season, in this draft, kind of helped them make that decision, because you really don't have anywhere else to go with it, right?
Right. I mean, they drafted the kid from Clemson, 6'4", 315, great athlete.
Yeah.
And we'll see where he, we'll see. Yeah.
He a project. We'll
see where he goes. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think he was a road. They recruit the best defensive lineman at Clemson. I mean, they got 5 stars always across the front. So you can play behind. But I thought, his tape is good, but there is definitely room for growth. Again, I haven't seen us really develop defensive linemen very well. I think that's fair to say. So we'll see, but I think all the more reason, they didn't get a premier defensive lineman in this draft. Now they did bring Nacho back, which I think was great, but how many years does he have left? Yeah. So I think it's for $14 million, if he stays healthy, he can be a Pro Bowl player along the defensive line. I think it's a must do, quite frankly. So they had to do that. So when you look at this defense, Timmy, and we haven't gotten your take on the Bucs draft. I think universally, there are some places that had them as the third best draft. I think most analysts would give them a B to an A minus, is what I've seen. But you look right now defensively at what you could put out there right now. Okay, Anzalone, Trotter, 6'4". He's a thumper, 240 pounds. I mean, that's a guy that's you watch, let's say, Servassier in the middle. When guards are coming at him, tackles are coming at him. If they get their hands on him, he's out of the play. He's about 215, 220 pounds. He's not real strong, not like this guy. Now, he may be a little bit more athletic, and I'm not sure how good Trotter's going to be in coverage. That's something that remains to be seen. The Bucs say he could do it. The film says, meh, but we'll teach him. We'll see. Anzalone, really good in coverage, super smart, brings an edge, all that. You just wonder how much, gas is left in the tank, after having played 9 years of pretty intense football in Detroit. So, but just on his face, there's a lot more edge, a lot more physicality right there in those two inside linebackers than you had last year, right? You had, Levante's 6 foot, 220, 225. He certainly did not have the superpowers of his prime, right? So I think you've definitely improved physically in the linebacker. Will they be as good overall? We'll see. But then you look at, obviously, you bring in Bain, that edge, not only position-wise, but the way he plays, that nastiness, that demeanor, he plays a ferocious, violent game, which is contagious. And hopefully it spreads among the whole defense. So now you got Bain, if you can get a healthy Cansey and Vita Vea, Yaya on the other side, and now you've got two linebackers. I mean, you talk about remaking your front seven, boom, you've done that big time. And it looks like a totally different team athletically, from a speed standpoint, from a physical standpoint. They've gotten bigger, they've gotten faster, and they've gotten younger in some spots. So I think that's a huge plus. That defense looks better. And then with Chianti from Miami, now you've got another physical, nasty player that's going to bring that to the slot. And you look at his ability to rush the passer and play the run. I mean, he looks more like a linebacker than he does a defensive back, quite frankly.
Right.
So if he plays the slot, and then you have Parrish, who I think is going to develop into a really, really good football player. As a rookie, he played well above his head. And then, if we could just get Zion to play to his ability and be aggressive and stop thinking so much. And then you got two safeties in Ty Key and Antoine Winfield, who are difference makers. I mean, that's a lot of talent right there, partner. If you can't be a top 15 defense with that kind of talent, once again, there's something wrong with your scheme. There's something wrong with your play calling. There's something wrong with the coaching. So there are no excuses, in my mind, for this defense to be as bad as it was last year, especially in the red area, and especially just in terms of making big plays when they're needed most and getting stops when you have to have them. When you get 2-score leads, not giving them up in the blink of an eye, which is what they do all the time, what they did in the Falcons game. 3rd and 28, 4th and 14. So that hopefully, to me, is when I look at this group now, I have some hope, because I think the offense with Zach Robinson, they add the tall receiver, Ted Hurst. evidently universally loved by a lot of different scouts, even though he played at Georgia State. So we'll see what he can give us.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about the offense. The offense is going to be 25 to 30 points a game. Defensively, I think they did a great job, really remaking this front seven. What do you think, Timmy?
So I like the moves. I'm on record as saying I like the offseason signings. I love the Anzalone addition. I don't have a problem really with anybody that was drafted. Obviously, Bain was a no-brainer. If I'm concerned about anything, it's the Trotter draft pick in the second round with the injury history that he has. He has just 2 years of experience at college football, but he's super young. He just turned 21 right before the draft. But he had knee surgery at the end of 2025. He missed all of 2023 at West Virginia with a torn ACL. He's got an injury thing going on. And yes, he does have the heritage, his dad and his brother. We're all familiar with that. But, and again, I don't dislike it. I still think that was a bit high for him, unless the Bucs just have absolutely all of the information on his medicals, and they have zero concern with him. And everybody's pretty much penciling him in as the starter on the left side, on the inside. Him and Anzalone, I guess. But I don't have a problem really with a linebacker core anymore. I know that was a huge question last year. I think they've fixed that. They've addressed it. Edge rush, I think that will be vastly improved this year with the addition through the draft and through free agency. Man, I am still concerned about the secondary, though. I still have tremendous concerns about the secondary. I still need to see Jacob Parrish and Benjamin Morrison show me something.
I'm not even counting on Morrison, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to be a really good player, but I think he's going to be injured most of his career, to be honest with you.
For a second-round guy to just give you nothing, and I know a lot of it was injuries, but they knew that when they drafted him. They knew the injury history, and he still took him in the second round. Now I'm hoping that Josiah Trotter does not turn into this year's Benjamin Morrison with the injury history taking him in the second round. You need to see more from Winfield. Tyke Smith needs to be a little bit more consistent. Behind them, I'd love the Keontae Scott pick. I absolutely love that. Is he going to be a depth piece, or can he start for you? Because I kind of feel like you might have needed a potential starter, and I don't know if he's a potential starter for you, at least not this year. Either ahead of Winfield or Smith, whichever one falters, because I kind of feel like
I predict he'll be starting as the nickel by midway through the season.
Okay. And you know what? I would have no problem with that. That's just my biggest concern. And I don't know that you could have fixed all of these issues in one draft and one offseason. That's the issue. And there's still a lot of the offseason to go. I mean, the additions can still be made. If I have a big concern on the Bucs defense right now, number one, it's still Todd Bowles, still coaching the thing. It's still his scheme. But aside from that, it's the secondary, I think. So we'll just, and again, just with any team though, health. You gotta stay healthy somehow. Rolling into this, especially through the offseason. Please at least get to freaking September with a full lineup and not have guys nursing things and have guys missing maybe the first month of the season. We don't need that.
Yeah. Today, Be Fit says, question for you. Todd coached that amazing defense during the Super Bowl run. It's the same scheme. So why do you think there's a major drop-off? Because last season's defense was horrible. Couple things. It was mostly in the second half of the season. You got the injury to Cansey. I think that was a big deal. And the fact that, that defense back in the Super Bowl, you could get pressure with four, right? You had Shaq Barrett and JPP, Vita Vea. You could get pressure with four. This group could never get pressure with four. And Todd would constantly rush four. And when they did, they'd rush four, they'd play zone behind it, and it was just soft. It was just soft. No pressure on the quarterback, easy completion percentage, time and time again, huge quarterback rating numbers, no turnovers, just soft. So it all comes down really to be able to get, I think, a huge part of it, and this is not rocket science, is to get pressure with four. So in drafting Bain and keeping Cansey healthy, now you can, if you can get pressure with four, it allows Bowles to do a lot of different things, and you're better. Now, the talent level was also a hell of a lot better across the board, for those defenses. And, you could say, well, any defense coordinator with great talent could have a great defense. That's true. That's 100% true. Was it Bowles or was it the talent level that made them a great Super Bowl defense? Evidence would suggest that this defense, evidence would suggest that I don't think Bowles is making this defense better. I think he's making it worse. And when you hear the players talk about it being too complicated, too many questions, guys aren't on the same page, not communicating, then you look at the defense. They don't play with physicality. They don't play smart. They're constantly making mental errors. That is the hallmark of bad coaching.
Yeah.
It is. This defense looks like it's poorly coached all the time. Too many open spaces, too many wide open receivers, too many matchups going in the offense's favor. That's why, in my opinion.
Well, the telltale here is the mental mistakes, the pre-snap penalties. Those are all mental errors. You're going to get a little bit of that, but when you have as many as the Bucs have had, dude, that is all on the coaching and preparation. And I don't know how else you can explain that. It's just been bad.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. A Bucs fan says with Bain, Yaya, Walker, Muhammad, Trotter, Keontae, Kancey, Vita, they are coming for quarterbacks hard. Yeah.
Question
Rush
is, will
4
they get there?
Yeah, that's the question. Mike H says even Jay Gruden, an offensive guy, said he really liked to draft defensive players that would produce stops. Yeah. You think about it. If you're an offensive coach, what do you want the most? The ball.
Yeah.
You almost feel like, give me good defensive players. I'm a good offensive play caller. I'll make the offense better with, me. I'll be able to score enough points with, I'm going to say mediocre players, but I'd rather spend more money on defense because I think defensively, speed, power, finding those guys that are rare breeds that can beat their guy every time, whether it be a corner, a linebacker, defensive end, defensive tackle. I want the most talent, I want it on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Fair? I mean, if I'm an offensive coach, because I feel confident that my scheme is going to make my players play above their talent level, and then it balances out, or you get the most out of your team.
Yeah.
Kings are great. So these players that said it was too complicated. Yaya Diaby, Rondé Barber. Who else? There was I always remember things conceptually. I'm not as good at details. That's one of my downfalls. So when you ask me specifically, but those two specifically, definitely. Who else was it that I have to go back and look at? It was in the postseason interviews, like the day after interviews. We saw a lot, and the Rondes talked a lot about that as well. And you hear a lot of analysts will say it as well. Nathan Elliott says the leadership of Sue and David keep egos in check, and Brady being the overall team leader. There was a lot of that too. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Big O is going to join us. Orestes Distrada. We'll talk a little Rays baseball on the field in the upcoming week for them. So stay with us. We're brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and American Standard Heating and Cooling. We got some hot weather coming up in this summer, so make sure your unit is at its peak operating efficiency. And to do that, get the maintenance special. It's $169 a year. You get 2 visits where they come out, make sure everything is in working order, that your unit is in tip-top shape and ready for the hot summer ahead. The wife wants her unit working perfectly because she don't want to live in a hot house, among other things. So make sure you get the maintenance special with the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing. And if you need a new unit, American Standard Heating and Cooling and Third Generation Plumbing.com. They are your dynamic duo in the HVAC industry. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3.
Hey, JP here for Genesis of Tampa and the Murphy Auto Group. I think the best way to experience a business is to use that business. And I just did at Genesis of Tampa. Just bought a GV70, a 2023, and it feels and drives all new. It's an absolutely fantastic car. The technology, the comfort, and the price, absolutely outstanding. Frankly, I never thought I could get into a car like this, but they made me a deal I could not refuse. And I also get the VIP service where you can just drive right up, their pit stop service. They'll top off all the fluids, make sure your air in your tires is good, new wipers if you want them. If you need extended service, they will come to you, bring you a courtesy car, and then bring your car back. What more do you want? The experience was just VIP all the way. And you can get that at Genesis of Tampa. And don't forget, you can get extended warranty, which I did. So I have worry-free miles up to 100,000, and all they do is just take it in. Actually, I don't have to take it in. They come to me. It's perfect. It's Genesis of Tampa right there, 801 East Bears Avenue, right off of 275. Go see them and tell them JP sent you. As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Cost less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. It's Diamond Days at the Golden Diamond Source. Celebrate April's birthstone, which is diamonds, as they take center stage. Up to 20% off the diamond jewelry throughout the month of April. And don't forget, you could trade in your broken or old jewelry towards something new and beautiful. Gold prices are at a record high. Now is the best time. And by the way, they only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source. It's real love. It should be real natural diamonds. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Really, really bad idea. And for the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyers, they are going to teach you all about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. They are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And by the way, you can trust them. They've been in business for over 40 years. Don't buy something online. You have no idea what you're getting. 0% financing for up to 5 years. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond. 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldendiamond.com. Hey guys, you already know that Riveters is the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, but now it gets even better for Rays baseball season. During all Rays games, check this out, $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas, all during Rays games. Are you kidding me? And that's always a great pour from the great bartenders at Riveters. Great service, great food, everything is fresh, nothing is frozen. And let me tell you, if you want baseball and wings, you will not find any better than Riveters. Their sauces, like the blue cheese and the ranch, and everything is handmade, and the wings are big, and they're perfect. Wings, baseball, Rays, Riveters. It all comes together during baseball season. Once again, in addition to all the great food and service, you get $6 Tito's, $6 Jacks, $6 margaritas. It's time to celebrate. Baseball season is back, and celebrate at Riveters. You know where it is, right there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of the stadium. See you there at Riveters. Pitch Roofing believes giving back is part of doing business the right way. That's why they proudly offer exclusive discounts to those who gave the most to our communities, including veterans, first responders, seniors, and teachers. And for listeners of the JP Peterson Show, there's even more good news. Pitch Roofing is now offering a special discount just for fans of the show. With so many roofing companies coming and going in Florida, it's important to choose a contractor you can count on long after the job is done, especially when it comes to honoring your warranty. Pitch Roofing is built for the long haul with a reputation for quality, transparency, and standing behind their work. Whether it's a repair or a full replacement, their team delivers honest guidance, quality workmanship, and no high-pressure sales. Call 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, or visit pitchroofing.com to schedule a free estimate.
Pitch roofing, roofing done right.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We've covered the Bucs, we covered the Rays, we covered the Lightning. We've got some other. I'll do a little magic here too. Is Big O? Is it Big O aboard, Timmy?
Big O is ready and waiting.
Oh yeah.
What's up, brother? How we doing?
Hey, buddy. Just loving life here in beautiful Tampa Bay, and I can't complain. A lot going on with the Rays playing well, the Bolts sneak a win, and the Bucs get a massive win with Ruben Baines Jr. and a nice draft for them. So Tampa Bay fans have to be very excited, very happy, and let's just keep that going forward and through the baseball season, into the playoff hockey, and into developing a stadium. Hello.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Big O? You know, we're used to having the big three sports now, you know? And I call the NHL part of the big three because I'm not a big NBA fan anymore.
Well, we don't have an NBA team, so it's
right.
big three.
Well, we got the Magic, and listen, the Magic.
We have
are
the
our
Magic,
local team,
but yeah,
you know, and they're beating up on the Pistons.
They are. That's a big surprise, but well, maybe not a huge surprise. But the Pistons had a great year, and were highly touted with led by Cade,
number one seed.
But
yeah,
they're number one seed.
About to beat a one.
But the Magic have a formidable deep roster, so I'm not completely surprised by that. But as far as the Tampa Bay area, you know, this is the big three, and especially since one of the three, you know, has won a couple of championships. Well, two of the three haven't really in
right.
You know, in the last 20 years. So you know, you can't at all not look at Tampa Bay not being a hockey area. So I agree with you. The big three are alive and rolling right now. One in the off season, one in the playoffs, and one in midseason. So yeah, very exciting.
Well, let's get into some breaking news here. Rob Thompson out as Phillies manager, and Don Mattingly interim. The Phillies they lost 10 in a row at one point. I stopped counting. Very talented team, high payroll. What do you make of that?
Well, it's interesting because just a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about it a little bit, and I felt after the demise of the Mets happening in the middle of it, you know, started a couple of weeks ago with their 12-game losing streak. The way that the Boston Red Sox were playing, the way that the Phillies were just not hitting, I felt like all three were going to be released from their managerial duties, that being Mendoza, Cora, and Thompson, some point during the season. And my feeling was it was going to be Mendoza first, then Cora, then Thompson. It's been obviously Cora first, now Thompson. Mendoza has to, find, going over to Lowe's and buying heavy duty boxes to, ready for the, to tape them up and put some of his stuff in there. It's got to be, because if Mendoza, I'm going to tell you right now, if Mendoza survives this and makes the playoffs, the Mets make the playoffs and he survives this, it would go down as the greatest managerial comeback in the history, the storied 100+ year history of managers in the Major League Baseball. I can't think of anybody that, honestly, in my estimations, as a former player and over 20 years of analyst, I thought he should have been fired after the season last year, to be candid with you.
Right.
I really do. Not Thompson, not Cora, but obviously their malaise and their really weak start mostly offensively, has kind of created, their demise. But I thought Mendoza was going to be gone. As far as Thompson, they kind of needed a change. Listen, when you look at – here's an interesting thing that ties back to the Tampa Bay Rays. When you look at those three reasons, the reasons that I thought that a couple of weeks ago this is going to happen is because they're three monster markets. You can't mess around with those markets. Their fandom is rabid. They do not put up with – they don't put up with much, but they definitely don't put up with ugly, right? So
right.
So the moment that all three went ugly within the first 30 games of the season, I'm not surprised that New York City, Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, and the city of Boston, those are arguably, you guys tell me, come on, please, are those not the three most rabid but also mean fans in all of sports?
The worst ever. Yes. Top three.
I literally was at first base as a Pittsburgh Pirate the last year of Michael Jack Schmidt, one of my icon heroes of my top 5, definitely top 10, along with Reggie, along with Dave Parker, along with Hank Aaron. Mike Schmidt was in there, and I was fortunate enough to be at first base. He walked one time. I just wanted to touch him, like, on his shoulder. I just wanted to go, like, hey, it's really Michael Jack Schmidt, And the next couple of times he struck out, and they booed Michael Jack Schmidt.
Yep.
And I'm looking at first base around at Veterans Stadium, the old stadium. I'm going, how are you booing this guy? Yeah, he's on the last leg. By the way, just a short few weeks later, I believe it was in San Diego. He up and retired in midseason. And so that goes to show you how, like, dramatic that fandom is, that they don't give a shit. And if you're sucking, and I don't care if you had 530 home runs, whatever it was he ended up with, but over 500 for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest third bases of all time. So Robbie Thompson being let go is not a surprise. He's a true baseball guy. I've known Robbie, and I think it was just an unfortunate time that they just haven't put it together the last few years. But then you circle back to, a team like the Rays, where the fandom isn't, as rabid. I'm not saying we don't love our Rays, but the coverage isn't as dramatic. And you're just not going to get that if they go on a 10-game slide.
So when we talk about managing, I was watching the Rays game last night, tuned into it a little late because they started so early. And it's the last game. I tune into the 8th, and here is Aranda takes a changeup out with just like a nice 80% swing. That's a beautiful swing. Caminero rips one through the hole. Nobody out.
Yep.
Tied 2-2 now. And manager Cash just decides to play Sparky Anderson here. Like, he's taking Caminero out of the game. Your best hitter out of the game in the 8th inning. Probably, if you're probably even
in a one-run game.
Yeah.
In a one-run game, right. Yeah.
Palacios out there. Have him steal second base immediately. And instead of going to Fraley and you're right on left, which is what Cash always freaking does, he sticks with Valade, who's got 2 knocks and is not going to cover off the ball, and says, I'm going to stick with you. And he knocks him in. I'm like, are we managing right now? Are all the
he's
the
managing.
Analysts, are they on vacation? They let him manage the game?
That's a great point, JP. He's pushing all the right buttons right now. This team is playing like they need to be playing. Remember when I said, at the beginning of the season, during the spring training, and even into the season, that predominantly, and I think it'll mass out in the end, they're going to probably average out with runs scored. Right now, they just actually matched up their runs scored and runs allowed, 135, 135. They finally kind of caught up with that. We got after a abysmal road trip start, and the high giving up 9, giving up 7, giving up 11. So it's evened itself out, mainly because not only the starters have been dramatic, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but the bullpen has settled down, right? The bullpen has dramatically settled down. By the way, what has helped the bullpen settle down? The errors have settled down, right? We're getting great plays. I mean, a play that Williamson did up the middle on that dive, I mean, phenomenal,
Woo!
right? To go on the left side of second base, he was shading him up the middle. What an athletic play. That's what this team is. This is a very athletic team with a bullpen that is not completely shored up because you don't have Clevenger. You're waiting on Uceda. Hopefully it's not, super serious. And he'll be back hopefully by midseason. Clevenger hopefully around the corner. But you got a situation with the very talented Griffin Jack that, supposed to be your back end guy, now probably going to be an opener. Maybe they're thinking about him starting. I wouldn't mind that, because he was a starter before. But bottom line is guys like Baker have stepped up, 7 saves, like his stuff. His changeup is great. He spots his fastball. But the key to all of this is that they're going to play mostly 4-3 ball games. And last night was a great example of that, 3-2, right? A 1-run game. And he opts to stay with a hot bat. And I got to tell you that when I saw that, I was like, okay, here we go. He had gotten a couple of knocks, a broken bat single that Messick probably would have beat him the first, but the bat almost hit him. So he had to, get away from the bat. That gave him a single. Then he kind of punched the single to right. But the guy, remember, one of the guys that I've been super high on in the signing, I told you from the moment that in spring training, I said, I like this kid, Ryan Blade. I kept on calling Velade because, I'm Destrade, but
of course,
ended up finding out he's not from Santiago, Cuba, so they pronounce it Blade. But I like his swing, I like his makeup, can play all three corner outfield, can play corner infield, very, good hitter up at the plate. So when it comes down to it, it's been what they've been able to get from the infamous Shaquille O'Neal saying, it's about the other. It's about the other. And it really is about – haven't you heard when Shaq does that deal?
Oh, yeah.
It's about the other. Well, you know what? It is about the others. And the others have really been stepping up this year, especially offensively. When you have the likes of Blade, you have Williamson, even Richie Palacio, that I was never really high on as far as his offensive attributes, but he's playing pesky baseball, runs like incredibly well. I mean, probably just a step behind the great, Chandler Simpson. But those guys are making a huge impact in this 4-3 general outcome of a Rays game, right? So you look at guys like Fraley, he's starting to kind of turn it around a little bit. Williamson, DeLuca, your guy, I'm going to be honest, man. I got to tip my hat to JP Peterson because, he's been a big fan of Johnny DeLuca. I have been too, but, we're getting to the point with Mullins. He's got 87 at bats. My ticker usually for a player of a caliber of a veteran, right? Not a rookie, not a chance player, type of a guy, but a bona fide guy that has done it already is 150 at bats. I need to give him 150 at bats, and if he's hitting under 200, then okay, it's just not working out. He's obviously at 87 at bats. I want to give him a few more, but it is getting to the point where he's being really, really not productive. I mean, he's not hitting, lefties nor righties right now. So it's really an ugly situation. But other than that, you've got DeLuca aggressive. You've got Blade. Walls is actually putting the ball in place. Play. And then you got Fortes surprising the hell out of me with 21 hits and hitting, 280, 290.
Yeah.
So I forget about, I'm not going into the tremendous trio. They're doing their deal, driving in runs, getting on base, hitting the home runs, and then there's Simpson, who is, still, being uncomfortable for the league to deal with.
Oh, that's this Estrada joining us here. By the way, programming note, we will have a Big O show for you tomorrow. Not today. This is your Big O show today. So get your links in right now. If you have any questions for the Big O, put them up in the comments, and we will hit them with that. And we'll have the full show tomorrow. Last night, Steven Metz, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, Fantastic job. Also, give me a comment on Plant City's own part in Florida State's Parker Messick. 9 strikeouts last over 5 2/3. This kid's electric, man. He is one hell of a pitcher. Tell me about the 2 starters last night.
The 2 starters were phenomenal. Chunky Monkey Messick, he
love it.
He's something else. I don't know. I'm trying to think who he reminds me of. I want to kind of almost go David Boomer Wells, but Boomer, threw a lot harder and kind of came at you. It was more fastball curveball. But
I like that one. I like that.
Both of those guys are chunky monkeys for sure.
Yeah, I like that.
They're chunky monkeys, but they can pitch their asses off. Messick, dude, that guy's running fastball, his changeup, and he gives you a lot of arms and legs and body with that big body. Kind of comes at you as a hitter, as a former hitter. That messes with you because he's giving you a lot of butt, quad, knee. Then he hinges. And then he comes at you. No, seriously, that's what makes the difference, believe it or not.
Yeah.
If he were to be more prototypical, straight up and down, which is what Steven Matz is, right? Steven Matz is thin. I'd much rather face a Steven Matz because they're thin and you kind of get used to the release point. This guy is kind of funky, but he really spots his fastball, and his changeup and sinking running changeup is devastating. I mean, had hitters, struck out 9. Almost felt like he should have stayed in the game. But Stephen Vogt, who's a great manager in his own right, went to his pen and they didn't exactly give it up. But Messick was just messing with them, no pun intended. But then coming back to Steven Matz, 7 quality innings, super quality innings. So whenever, the 6-3 is a quality start for many, many years. For me, I like to call it the super quality. The super quality is 7 and less than 3. So 7, 2 or less for me is a super quality start. And that's what he pulled off. That's when you really get the metric of a real start, and a real quality. Because if you really give up, 3 and 6 innings, okay, that's nice. But, your ERA, believe it or not, is 4.5. So it's not a great ERA. But when you go into the 7 innings, two runs given up, you're at under 3 ERA now, and it's a massive difference. You've lengthened your start to give a chance to your bullpen to come in and just close out 8 and 9, which they did. But I like what he's doing. He's throwing up in the zone sometimes on purpose. He'll cut a fastball up on the right-handed hitters, then he'll go down and away. So basically, he's hitting all 4 quadrants right now. And you can't, again, when you talk about the others. Well, what a job, I'm going to say, I said it from the beginning. I thought Nick Martinez would be quality and he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be this good off the bat. But I thought he was a good sign for a veteran starter that they needed to kind of have that, that guy that's been there and done that. Steven Matz, having gone to the bullpen the last couple of years and been successful, I was questioning him going back to the starting role, but you forget one thing. Kyle Snyder, and you just forget how much of a guru Kyle Snyder is and how many times already in the last decade he's taken pitchers and made them better. So he's really, obviously, he got a veteran like Matt and he's listening. So is Martinez. Martinez, when you look at him, he's starting today against Tanner Bibby, who's struggling. Martinez, the hitters are hitting just a shade over 220 against up 221. He's got, one of the key things that Martinez has done, whenever he's been in a pinch, the hitters are runner score position 167, guys. So he's shutting down the offenses and giving anywhere between 5 2/3 to 6 1/3 every time he goes out there. That's dramatic. With the good defense, the spray hitting, the occasional power, and the, as I call it, athletic players that we have. And I'm also glad that a guy like Mullins, Fraley, everybody's buying in, it seems like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mullins would like to be hitting 280 with eight home runs. But you know what? He came in the pinch run yesterday. Palacio comes in. Everybody is like, it's really reminding me of that era back in 08, 10, 12, 11 when this team was was a well-rounded team with a couple of big boppers.
I don't know why I can't find, because I've been looking, Nick Martinez 2026 Cy Young odds. Nobody has Nick Martinez Cy Young odds listed.
That's a little. You're a little premature there, Johnny. You
Yeah.
go get him.
Do you want to know who right now is your leader in the clubhouse for the AL Cy Young?
AL Cy Young?
Yeah.
Would have to be Dylan Cease.
It is Dylan Cease plus 950. He is 5th on the list. It is Scooball at plus 250.
Dude, so Dylan Cease has, I want to say he's got 49 strikeouts. He's just been ridiculous in only like 25 innings. He has been wipe out. The problem with him is that he goes hard for like 5, and I don't think he's reached 6 or definitely hasn't reached 7. So he's one of those guys that just goes all out. The guy to watch out for, by the way, is Gavin Williams, who will be facing tomorrow. Tanner Bibby, you need to beat up on him because he's really struggling. Garrett, that matchup, and we'll talk about it tomorrow on the show, between two hosses. You've got our guy Drew Rasmussen is throwing fantastic. Oh, by the way, is he anywhere in that list?
So Gavin Williams and Drew Rasmussen both at plus 6,000 for those of you scoring at home. And also, if you're interested, Shane McClanahan plus 20,000 right now to win the AL Cy Young.
Well, that's a good bet. I'll take that.
Yeah, that might be it. Listen, Gavin Williams and Drew at plus 6,000 is a great bet because Gavin Williams got 44 strikeouts. He's a 6'6", 250 hawk, and he's the workhorse right now. That young kid, he's only 26 for Cleveland Indians. So tomorrow's game, not going to be looking too far ahead because they got to take care of business against Bibby tonight and have a good start by Martinez. But that one is a marquee matchup of two power right-handers. No doubt about it.
What'd you think of Sugar Shane's start over the weekend? That was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought he's fine. Remember we were talking about, everybody rightfully is. It's going to take him a little while. It's 2.5 years. You're not talking about, one injury. It was 2 injuries, major. He's coming around. What I'm really liking is that the velocity is ticking upwards. So if he has that fastball, right around 96 or 97, and then he's really worked on the changeup.
That change is awesome.
All of it, the change is awesome. All of it is going to kind of come together once he gets that comfort zone of like, I'm truly back. And then you're going to start seeing, hopefully, that, 7-inning gem. Yeah, bulldog mentality, But we're seeing some great pitching performances, man. You just saw Ranger Suarez throw 8 one hit. The kid Skeens threw 8 with a 1-hitter the other day.
Nice.
There's some great pitching. There's some great pitching going on. There's a great matchup. I want to say DeGrom is up against is it Alcantara? No. Texas is not playing the Marlins. I apologize. Who's Texas playing tonight?
If you wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you.
No, I'll tell you right now.
Oh, Yankees. We're in the middle of a Yankee series. Yeah.
Schlittler's throwing against DeGrom. So it's kind of like a young meets old, type of a matchup of a former, forget about uber star in Jacob DeGrom against what looks to be the AL's version of Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
Because this kid Schlittler is, wow.
3-1. He's 3-1 with a 1.77 ERA and a .73 WHIP with 41 Ks, 41 Ks and 35 innings pitched.
Yeah, the Yankees. I don't know if you realized it, but the Yankees won 4-2 last night. They've had 12 consecutive games where they scored at least 4 runs, 4 or more for 12 consecutive games. So they're swinging it and they're pitching it. They're a tough cookie. So
they beat the Rangers last night 4-2.
4-2. Having swept them at home was majestic because I think that those games. Remember, JP, you and I both have been talking about it. Those games are going to come back around. late in September, to hopefully haunt the Yankees and lift up the Rays, because this is parity at its best, is what the MLB season is right now.
I'm here for it too, man.
All right, just a couple minutes left.
Yeah, your Rangers aren't a bad team. They're not a bad team, but they've been struggling with running scoring position lately.
Yeah, and I'm going to get your not today, but we'll maybe tomorrow.
Oh, I lost audio. I can't hear anybody.
What you get for being in Orlando today, buddy? I tell you what, Orlando trying to steal our Rays, trying to steal our Bucs. What else you want to steal over there, Orlando? Jeez Louise.
They stole our JP.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Give me JP.
Hey, I was Alex Nunn. Alex, I'm sorry I missed that whole little thing. Alex Nunn was at the ball game last night. Hit us up with a couple super chats. He said, Big O, I had fun at the Guardian Stadium. Beautiful park. Match was so good, but Baker was so good too. Cash hit all the right buttons. Also got a ball from DeLuca last night. How about that? What a great experience. We don't we talk about it a lot, but just having a baseball team and that downtown park that they built in Cleveland is absolutely gorgeous. It is completely revitalized downtown Cleveland. It's, baseball is such an amazing game. I can't even imagine losing our major league team at an opera. And not only that, I can hardly imagine having a really kick-ass stadium that's accessible to everyone in the middle of the market. We're so fucking close. And you just love to see what baseball does. A magic moment last night when that dumbass jerk stole the ball from the little girl and Ryan Bass went and got her a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball is so freaking cool. And I'll just let you go talk about that stadium and how cool it is having a great stadium in an accessible area like that.
Well, what I'm going to say is that, number one, very comparable teams when you look at the metrics of, the size of Cleveland, the type of, excitement the fans have. Obviously, they've been there long time, obviously, because they're one of the, the originals, right? Yeah. Along with Baltimore's and the Yankees and the Bostons, right, Timmy? So the bottom line is that you can compare those teams very, very formidably in the sense of, like, if you build it, they will come. And Jacobs Field was a cool place, got to play there, but the bottom line is that building that new stadium and making it fan friendly and district friendly has really built up, the Cleveland area.
All right, Big O, we will see you tomorrow afternoon for a Big O show. So appreciate you, my brother. Be well and go Rays tonight. We will all be watching.
Awesome.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
Partner. All right.
All right, guys.
There you go.
I think we got most of the comments in, Timmy. Great stuff from all you guys. Appreciate you chiming in. Yes, congratulations to the Magic who got the big win. I wanted to mention that today. Paulo had some big shots last night, and they were one beaten in 8. They're up 3 games to 1 now. It's not done yet. But what a tremendous accomplishment. Bain hit a huge 3-pointer last night in the clutch, and they've been playing great in the clutch. They've been hitting big shots time and time again. Wagner got injured last night. Not sure how serious that is. But tip of the cap to the Magic. Also, another big story, Brandon Sorsby has checked himself in for a gambling addiction. Former Indiana quarterback, one of the big transferred quarterbacks in
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Texas Tech. He's at Texas Tech now, right? Or not anymore.
So he started at Indiana 2022, played at Cincinnati, one of the top collegiate quarterbacks in all of college football, and probably the top transfer portal guy at any position this offseason. And Texas Tech lands him to replace Baron Morton and try to make another college football playoff run. And now we have this. And the reports are, JP, that there were reports of him, all of these gambling, thousands and thousands of bets placed on betting apps, which, of course, in college football is 100% illegal. Collegiate players are not allowed to bet on any games in any sport at all and retain eligibility. And these go back to 2022 when he was at Indiana. And apparently the reports are now that Cincinnati got wind of this over the offseason, and that is why he was not retained in Cincinnati or even offered to stay in Cincinnati, and why he was available in the transfer portal. And, of course, Texas Tech had zero wind of this, didn't know anything about it, and now they are potentially screwed because the portal's closed. There is no spring portal, and you can't just go get quarterbacks that are out there. They're kind of stuck with who they've got. Will Hammond's a great replacement, but he's still coming off an ACL injury from October, and he won't be ready for probably the first 3 weeks to month of the season. So Texas Tech is scrambling, but that's the secondary story. This whole gambling thing for Brendan Sorsby is nuts.
Well, it's just the tip of the iceberg, too. I mean, when you're talking about young men gambling, sports, and you add in all this NIL money, it is an absolute combustible situation, and we're going to see way more of this. And and now the NBA gambling scandal is unraveling. Yeah. When you have a coach and Chauncey Billups, like major players in the industry and then in the sport who are taking money. The baseball scandal with the pitchers. I mean, and not only that, you throw on top of that, it's the gambling addiction of not just Sorsby but college age kids everywhere. This is a huge, huge problem in the United States right now, and we got to get a hold of it. We got to get a hold of it some way. There's a lot of these players are taking this NIL money and heading right to the casino, and they probably haven't even put any money away for taxes at the end of the year. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad, and it's going to get worse. I don't, normally I'll come on here and I say, I can fix things for you. I got no answers for this.
So, Scott Hamilton did a great episode on the Scott Hamilton Show at FanStream Sports Carolinas last night that we released late last night. So it's out there over at fanstreamsports.com. Go give it a listen. It's only about 20, 25 minutes, so it's short. But he broke this down beautifully.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out for sure.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all our social media, our channels, FanStream Tampa Bay, FanStream Sports Dallas, Columbus, the Carolinas. Please do all that. Spread the word, spread the show, share it if you like. Have a great day. Go Rays, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Oh.